Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to be deconstructing a pretty significant document, Executive Order 14261. This was signed on April 8th, 2025, and it does a lot more than just, support the U.S. coal industry. It really tries to completely reimagine its future. So, let's get into it.
Right off the bat, the order doesn't waste any time. The opening lines frame this whole thing not just as an energy policy, but as a matter of national security and economic survival. And really, this one sentence, it's the foundation for everything that follows.
Okay, so you have to ask, what's the official reason for such a big policy shift? Well, the document lays out a pretty clear and urgent case for why this is all happening and why it's happening right now.
So according to the order, coal is kind of positioned as the solution for some of the country's biggest problems. Here at home, it's all about reliable power, more jobs, and hopefully lower energy bills. But then on the world stage, it's about using exports as a tool for foreign policy. It's really covering a lot of ground.
But what's with the sudden rush? The order argues that this isn't just about what we need today, it's really about getting ready for a huge surge in energy demand coming from two very specific and surprisingly modern places.
And here they are. First, a resurgence in domestic manufacturing, and second, and this is a really interesting twist, the absolutely massive energy appetite of the AI boom. The order is basically saying that these two forces are the main reasons for this big pivot back to coal.
All right, so the why seems pretty clear, but what about the how? How is the administration actually planning to make these big goals a reality? Well, the next part of the document gets right into the nuts and bolts with a concrete, government-wide action plan. The very first step is basically a full-scale regulatory overhaul. Every single federal agency is being told to do a top-to-bottom review of their rules. They have to find any policy that gets in the way of coal and then get ready to either change it or get rid of it entirely.
And this is a really key point. It's not just about environmental rules. The order also goes after financial policies. It's telling agencies to get rid of any regulation that might discourage people from investing in coal projects, whether that's here in the US or even abroad.
So, with the old rules being cleared out, what's next? Opening up new supply lines. The government's giving itself a pretty tight deadline, just 60 days, to map out all the coal reserves on federal land. And the goal is crystal clear. Prioritize these spots for new mining operations, and do it fast.
Now, a huge part of this is getting rid of something called the Joule Moratorium. This was a policy put in place way back in 2016 that basically hit the pause button on all new coal leases on federal land. Well, this executive order brings that pause to a very definite end.
It's not just about what gets mined, though. It's also about how fast it can happen. And the order has a plan for that, too. It's trying to slash through the red tape by using a specific legal tool over and over, something called a categorical exclusion.
So what exactly is that? Think of it as a legal shortcut. If a coal project gets classified as categorically excluded, the government can skip the whole long and often really expensive environmental impact statement process. This could speed up approvals a lot.
But the executive order doesn't just stop there with increasing production. It actually goes a step further. It starts to outline this whole new vision for coal's role in the high-tech and industrial world of the future. And it uses this really powerful phrase, steel dominance, to connect the fates of two big, old-school industries. The argument they're making is pretty simple and direct. You can't have American dominance in steel without a strong supply of American coal.
And to help make that happen, it gives two different cabinet departments the same mission. Figure out if metallurgical coal, that's the kind used for steel, should be designated a critical mineral. See if it gets that official label, it could unlock a whole new level of federal support, everything from more funding to faster permits.
Okay, and this is where the plan gets really futuristic. It's about to connect this, 19th century resource directly to the biggest technology of the 21st century.
You guessed it, artificial intelligence. The order is literally arguing that the future of America's dominance in AI depends on the reliability of its oldest industrial power source.
So a team of cabinet secretaries gets just 60 days to come up with a strategy, and their mission is to figure out how existing coal power infrastructure can be used to feed the absolutely massive energy demand from AI data centers, and then how to expand it. And the last piece of this puzzle, this future vision, is to look at coal not just as something you burn for heat and power,
but as a basic raw material for creating brand new, advanced products.
The Secretary of Energy is now tasked with speeding up a pretty radical idea, treating coal not as a fuel, but as a feedstock. The goal is to get technologies to market that can actually turn coal into advanced materials. We're talking about things like high-tech carbon fiber, building supplies, and even parts for batteries.
So, when you look at the whole picture, this order isn't just a lifeline for an old industry. It's really a bold and pretty comprehensive blueprint to tie coal directly to the future of America's high-tech industries. And it leaves us with a really big question, right? Can the energy source that powered the very first industrial revolution actually succeed in fueling the next one?